and welcome back to Tech Coffee Mornings. And today, once again, I'm joined by Dave from the Scoville couple.
Hey guys.
And today we are discussing a whole range of topics from pretty much anything tech, but it's a bit of a shorter list this time because there's not really been a lot of tech news. Do you want to start off again?
Well, the first thing I have on my list is news that apparently the new Tesla Model S that's due to come out this year,
Hmm.
apparently this actually stems on from our last episode actually, where we were talking about the Mercedes with the great big touchscreen
Yeah.
that we thought could be a bit distracting whilst you're driving. What about having an actual built-in gaming PC?
Yeah, it's bonkers.
Is what they're talking about doing on the Model S now.
Now, from what I've seen, it has a little separate screen in the back, and I'm hoping when they say building gaming PC, you can only access it from that second screen.
No, no, he has actually confirmed there's two screen options for use with the gaming rig. A 17-inch uh, potentially touchscreen dash in the middle of the display in the middle of the dashboard,
Hmm.
and an 8-inch panel jam between the two front seats for backseat passengers. But yeah, you can actually use it from the front seats.
That's crazy. And from the reports I've seen, yeah, it's supposed to be quite a powerful system as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's rumored to have AMD's Navi 23 chip in.
Mm. But also about the new Tesla Model S, whilst we're on Tesla, they are also experimenting with some moment. Apparently, the new Model S will automatically shift between park, reverse, and neutral.
Yes, and it also has no indicator stalks.
Yeah, apparently it does
It-
everything automatically.
It's supposed to predict what you're going to do.
And am I the only person that thinks that the steering wheel looks like it's about to take off?
It does look a bit like a flight yoke, doesn't it?
It's sort of going along and you accidentally pull back and it was saying like, "Oh God, I'm not going to work again."
No. I wonder if you could do that if you were approaching it. If you are speeding, I know you shouldn't be, but if you are speeding and you go towards a red light camera, could you just lift it back, pull back and just fly above the red light camera?
The camera still goes off and it's just a picture of the ground.
Yeah, on the underside of your car. But I had a an interesting bit with a Tesla earlier, actually.
What did you?
A Tesla Model S, yeah. As a part in my travels today, where there's two lanes that go down into one,
Mm.
and all of a sudden this Tesla Model S that was behind me decided that he's going to go over to the other lane, and then when the lights went green, he was going to try and boot off ahead of me. Um, However, he sat there whilst the light was green, and I'd already started moving.
Mm.
So what would have initially started off as a let's have two lanes and see who can race to get to the one lane quickest
Mm.
actually became me doing that and him crashing into oncoming traffic.
Oh, lovely.
Yes,
Nice suspensive accident.
yes, it was. It wasn't pretty.
That when I was reading through the the announcements and everything that all the information we've got about obviously how it's going to automatically know when to reverse, etc.
No.
But apparently it can use autopilot sensors to intelligently and automatically determine intended driving modes. But what if you have two options, forward or backwards?
Well, yeah, it would choose for you.
You sort of put your arm on the passenger seat, look back, ready to go back, and all of a sudden you go, I'm going forward.
It's daft. And I mean, Elon Musk has tweeted himself saying that apparently you can play Cyberpunk 2077 on the car, and it's like, really?
It is bonkers. I mean, also I actually tried out Google Stadia yesterday,
All right.
and I was actually pretty sure it actually worked better than I expected.
Yeah, I have been meaning to look into that, but a lot of the decent games you either have to have Stadia Pro for or buy.
Mm. Yeah, I have a Division 2 on there,
All
which
right.
I got it really cheap, and during actually playing it, I couldn't actually tell the difference between having it on my PC and playing it on there.
Because you are supposed to be able to play it on most things, aren't you? I don't know if they've got it for, because I've got a Fire TV Cube linked up to our TV.
Um,
I don't think you can play it on that.
Fire TV. Let's have a look. I mean, it's Android based, so you probably could sideload it.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Because the Cube has the Ethernet jack point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so people have done this. Yeah, it should work fine.
Okay, I might have to give it a try. Whilst
Because
we're on the subject of, oh, sorry.
go on.
I was going to change subjects briefly, but still car related.
Mhm.
Uh, my Mercedes.
Oh yes, your Mercedes.
Yes. I have a 2010 plate Mercedes CLC 220 CDI Sport, which sounds a lot more impressive than it actually is.
Yeah.
Um, Mine is an automatic that stalls, and it's actually just been into Mercedes just the other day for a service
Mm.
on Thursday. Now, what should have been I'm paying £40 a month for a service plan for 2 years, covers 2 services, should have been a free job.
Mm.
I actually left there and picked the car up with a £532 bill, uh,
Ouch.
which there's a few points to mention on that.
Mm.
First off, the bill was for, they stated that I had initially they said I had an oil leak. So I was like, well, okay, that's fine. If it's an oil leak, chances are it's probably going to come from like the oil pan, one of the oil seals.
Mm.
That's fine. That's covered underneath my warranty.
Mm.
Um, Immediately, I got the whole, oh, well, for us to jet wash underneath the car isn't actually going to be covered under the warranties. You would have to pay for that anyway, but the repair would be done under warranty. So it's like, okay, that's fine.
Mm.
Little did I know at that point until I had agreed to it that was going to be a £172 bill for them to jet wash the engine
Wow.
and find out where the leak had come from. They then told me that it actually wasn't oil, like they had initially thought. It was actually diesel. And they said that because it was the injector seals, it wouldn't be covered by my warranty, and therefore I had to pay to follow them out myself.
Mm.
Having now looked at the so-called digital, what do they call it, digital service book, which I actually have here, they state on it that there was a major oil leak,
Oh, lovely.
which they charged me £408 for. They then charged me £13 engine cleaner, um, £5 for 4 cylinder bolts, and £3.20 for 4 seals. But then on top of that, now this was, as I say, this was done on Thursday, the 28th of January. On the 7th of January this year, it went for its MOT, where it passed with no advisories. Nothing wrong with the car whatsoever.
Wow.
So for starters, how did this leak come about and be that bad when it was fine literally 2 weeks previous, 2-3 weeks previous? But second of all, the other thing that they actually did is they charged me for external front and rear lights.
Really?
New light bulbs, stating that my indicators were white instead of yellow.
That's crazy.
Well, how could they have been when it passed an MOT?
Exactly. You shouldn't
Yeah,
be able to.
it states in here that my rear indicators were white.
Wow. But like the other thing, yeah, because obviously if what you're describing is obviously diesel black death, which is something that builds up over time, because you start with a slight leak and then it builds up,
No.
which any good MOT tester would be able to tell.
Yeah.
So obviously the early stages it makes kind of like a small leak in a plastic bag sort of sound when if you try to fill the bag with air.
Yeah. Oh, and that's not the best bit. Well, according to this, they didn't actually check my engine oil level.
Wow.
They've actually stated it themselves. It says engine oil level NC, which when you look down at the key below, it says not checked.
That's crazy. Especially if that's supposed to be a full service.
Yeah, that was it. This is actually a service B, so it's more expensive than the services.
Hmm.
On top of that, I mean, luckily they didn't do it anyway. Uh, but I was told when I went in, I said, look, I don't want my air filter changed because I have a K&N washable air filter and I've only put in about 500 miles ago.
Hmm.
His reply to me was, oh, in this branch, sir, we don't actually do air filters anyway. We can sell them to you, but we don't do them as part of your service.
Wow.
I know. So I've paid out all of this expense. Everything's supposed to be much better now, and it's all of my problems should have been solved.
Hmm.
I'm now getting an extra, on average, 3 miles per gallon
Right.
for the £532 that was paid, and the car still stalls. But according to Mercedes, it is impossible because it's an automatic and they can't stall.
I mean, technically you shouldn't be able to, but if there's a fuel issue, an air issue, exhaust issue, it'll choke the engine.
Yeah, and they're saying that they've tested everything and everything works fine.
What a joke. But obviously that's the one thing. I think Mercedes and BMWs are they're going too much for the premium market, which is why everything's electronic these days.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, you can say to a certain extent Audi, most of their stuff is electronic, but it's not as bad.
no,
Just like a lot of these cars now are becoming a lot more just computers than car.
yeah,
But for a tech head, you can't say it's a bad thing, but when you're actually trying to drive the car as a petrol head, it is.
oh, 100%. On the subject of petrol,
Hmm.
have you heard that Porsche found their way round the whole petrol and diesel ban already?
No, I haven't actually.
So Porsche have actually teamed up with Siemens Energy, and they promised to produce 130,000 litres of what they call climate neutral e-fuel by 2022. What they're basically doing is they are making a synthetic fuel,
Hmm.
which is essentially complex hydrocarbons created by man rather than the natural and man-made process that it takes to use, obviously, the fossil fuels to make petrol.
Hmm.
What they're actually doing is they separate water into hydrogen and oxygen,
Hmm.
and then take CO2 filtered from the air, which is combined with the green hydrogen, and they form methanol out of it.
Hmm.
They're only talking at the moment about using it for the start. It's going to be used for motorsport.
Hmm. Yeah, of course.
But the other thing that they're saying is that because it's actually, I didn't know this just until I read about it earlier, but apparently 70% of all of the cars that Porsche have made over their lifetime as a company
Hmm.
are actually still on the road.
Oh yeah.
So because there's so many old Porsches out there, they're saying, well, what they're planning on doing is opening it up later on so that anyone can use these fuels, because you can use these fuels in a standard internal combustion engine.
Hmm.
Um, so they're basically saying that they would be able to get round the whole people having to scrap their car
Hmm.
when petrol stations don't exist, etc. Because they'll be able to use their own synthetic fuel.
Hmm. And this is a point that would actually be coming up, is because obviously we're going to be getting that ban on actually buying new petrol or diesel cars.
Yeah,
Say, for example, they made a new fuel and they called it, I don't know, syntho fuel, for example.
yeah.
Could they then just start selling all their cars as syntho fuel cars?
Well, yeah, because they're not petrol or diesel, but they would have to not be created from a fossil fuel,
Yeah.
and it would have to not have the same pollutants.
Oh, exactly. But this will be quite interesting because they would be able to basically have the exact same car,
No,
but because it's designed only to work with synthetic fuel,
yeah,
it's not petrol or diesel. It just
yeah,
it makes you wonder if they'll bring in some form of exhaust emissions after this, doesn't it? Like, oh, it has to be neutral exhaust emissions.
yeah. I mean, it could be interesting because I mean, particularly after the announcement of the whole petrol and diesel ban,
Hmm.
I mean, it's shaking up motorsport, something chronic.
Yeah.
Um, Honda have announced that they're going to leave Formula One next year. They're not going to bother with it. Um, and BMW and Audi have also announced that they're not going to be doing Formula E
Hmm. That's the
as
thing.
as a sort of punishment for the fact that they're not going to be allowed to sell a lot of their car range.
Hmm. I mean, yes, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, they've done electric cars already, but not everyone wants an electric car at the moment. But also, it's not practical for everyone to have an electric car at the moment.
No,
Like, it's like where you live, you have an embankment down onto the pavement.
yeah,
You can't charge your car.
no, that's just it.
Where I live, I would have to take an extension lead out my flat's window and run across the pavement to charge a car, which you're not allowed to do.
Yeah,
So if they force everyone to have electric cars, most people wouldn't actually be able to have them.
no, that's exactly it. And it's a rather silly way of doing things.
It is because in every other industry, they've been told to, offset their carbon emissions.
Yeah,
Like, oh, if you produce this much, plant a load of trees or something.
yeah.
But then for cars, it's, oh no, you're not allowed to sell them anymore.
I know it is weird. I think we have the likes of people like Greta Thunberg and
Yes.
other puppets to blame for that.
I mean, the thing is, everyone keeps going on about global warming and how it's going to bring another ice age and all this stuff. But they're like, oh, it could bring around the end of the world. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure the dinosaurs went driving around sports cars.
Well, exactly.
I mean, they all got wiped out. Pretty sure they
Well,
didn't have sports cars and fossil fuel buses and everything else.
well, indeed. And I mean, where we live, they're actually talking about making uh, the whole town completely car free
Mm.
over the next 3 years.
The thing is, it's not practical because people need, for example, let's just go on for the point of, a frontline worker
Yeah,
who might start work or finish work about 3, 4 in the morning when
yeah.
buses don't run. So they can't go to work, they can't get home from work because the
Well,
buses don't run.
well, that's just it. It is daft, mate.
It is.
Some of the things that they're doing, and then of course you've then got the whole where's all of the taxation for the whole country going to be coming from
Yeah,
when they've removed such a huge stream.
exactly. They can't get any tax on petrol or diesel. They can't get any tax on. They won't be able to get any tax on road tax because all electric cars are road tax free.
Yeah,
They're going to just start bringing out other taxes for everything else.
yeah,
But then also you have the other issue, which is we've been going for decades of improvement in terms of our infrastructure, our technology, and it kind of feels like they now want to go backwards.
yeah.
Like, look at the car industry, like stop-start engines. The amount of work has been put into catalytic converters, diesel particulate filters.
Yeah,
And, that's taking place over decades. And they reckon, within a few years we can switch over and be electric only.
yeah. This is not going to work.
And then the next thing that's going to happen after that is how are we going to get tyres? We'll have to have, like, plant-based tyres.
Oh yeah, great. Vegetarians will eat.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, because you can't have, obviously, rubber tyres, well, just driving on a road can, If you do have a bit of a slip or anything, that can cause more carbon emissions, and also disposing of the tyres creates carbon.
Yeah.
So you can't have rubber tyres anymore. Well,
No.
if we go to plant-based, I think I'll just go over to strawberry laces for my tyres.
Yeah.
At least it's something nice.
You might as well, wouldn't you? 'Cause it's. I think this whole like climate change is a cute idea,
Yeah.
but it's really not doing anything positive.
But also, let's just say, you know, what we're doing is bugging up the planet. But
Yeah.
then you have to look at it from the point of, we've been doing it for so long. What would actually change?
Well, exactly.
Because the one thing they always harp on is you can't reverse climate change. Well, then there's no point us stopping. So it must already be too late.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
And I mean, climate change as a concept doesn't really work. Because they'll always say, like, oh, the world's getting warmer. I had snow last week.
Yeah.
It's currently 2 degrees outside in January. You know,
I know, it's nuts.
it's getting colder, not hotter.
No, it's only getting hotter.
Yes, our summer was lovely and hot this year. The summer we've had was lovely and hot, and it was nice and sunny.
No.
But then since then, it's been cold and miserable.
Well, yeah.
And it's like the other bit that I like to do. They harp on about the ozone layer, an invisible layer around the planet. Okay.
Yeah.
You're telling us to believe in something we can't see, and that you can't prove to us actually exists.
Yeah. Well, they've even tried making out. They're going, oh yeah, it's the because we've all been indoors because of lockdowns. The hole in the ozone layer has actually patched itself up.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, you were telling us that it was irreparable a little while ago.
Exactly.
It wasn't that long ago that you were saying, oh, you can't have. There's nothing we can do to fix it.
Also, okay, yes, we've not been out driving. We've been using a lot more electricity, and where do you think electricity is made at the moment? In power plants.
Yeah.
And what about all the gas we've been using to keep our homes warm?
Yeah. Exactly. It is pointless, mate.
It is. And that's just the thing, is whilst we are striving to now be environmentally friendly, apparently,
Yeah.
nothing can really progress until after the transition. Because, next they're going to start looking at other things if we want to be truly environmentally friendly. So, all your PC, the way it's manufactured, right, causes a lot of carbon emissions.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to change all of that. Any plastic parts have to be replaced.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nothing would be able to progress until after we switch over.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
So basically we're stuck in a limbo state until someone decides enough is enough. Although, on a different subject, before we go on to our last planned topic,
Yeah.
have you heard about that Reddit group on Wall Street Bets and what they've been messing around with?
Oh, is this the whole where they've been doing shit to inflate the prices of the share price for GameStop?
Yeah, so what they've done is you can actually go on the Reddit group and read through it all. So there's probably thousands of members of this Reddit group, and they've all bought shares in GameStop, and they're still buying shares at the moment. because there was a leak that a load of hedge funds were shorting GameStop, which means they were betting on the price dropping.
Yeah.
So what they would do is they borrow shares from someone, and say, give me a week and you'll have them back, and I'll give you a bit of money. And then they would get them from that price,
Yeah.
sell it when the price goes when the price starts going up. They quickly sell everything.
Yeah.
They buy it back. They buy that person's shares back at a lower price.
Yeah.
So if they dump a load of shares, they sell a load, the price drops. So that was all leaked inside of Wall Street Bets, and they just started buying loads and loads of shares.
Yeah.
And the price is just skyrocketing.
It's nuts, isn't it?
It is. It's completely insane because there's no real. I mean, they've got their own sort of manifesto on there about why they're doing it. But at the end of the day, I don't really think that there's much anyone could do about it. If they wanted to drop the price down, they'll still do it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm actually just having a look at that Wall Street Bets now.
Mm.
That is weird, isn't it?
It is. Like, yeah, they've got the price at the moment up to $325 for a share.
Yeah.
But at 225 today, at the time of recording, it dips down to 262.
Yeah.
So people are still selling it. If anything, I actually think most of the people, Wall Street Bets might be, all fair on their manifesto they've got.
Yeah.
But other people are jumping on the bandwagon, waiting for the price to increase, and then dumping their shares.
Yeah.
So people are just making money on it. And yes,
Yeah.
the big hedge funds and investing companies, they're all losing money at the moment.
Yeah.
But I don't even think it actually solves anything. If anything, I mean, I reckon it'll get to a point when they go, oh, we've had enough now. They'll all sell their shares. The price will plummet, and all they've actually done is made themselves a profit.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah. I don't get it.
no. That's the thing. I don't get why they're backing it. I mean, there's the manifesto. The manifesto says it's because they're supporting a company that employs working class Americans and all this lot.
No.
But I just don't get what they're really playing at. I really don't. I think it's going to be a short one this time because, like we said, there's not really a lot of tech to talk about at the moment.
No. I think the only other bit I wanted to briefly mention is the lawsuit against Steam.
Yes.
So basically, a lawsuit was filed earlier this week, which is accusing Valve of using basically a monopoly that they've got by way of their Steam distribution agreements when you, as a developer, wants to put a game onto Steam. Now the lawsuit saying that they basically have what they call a most favoured nation provision, in which a seller agrees to give a client, so in this case Steam, the best terms that it makes available anywhere else, which means that other storefronts like Epic Game Store or Microsoft Store, for example, can't actually compete on the price.
That's ridiculous.
As basically what they're able to do is, because obviously Steam sets their own prices, Steam can turn around and say, for example, I don't know, Cyberpunk's now going to be £70 on our store, and so it has to be more than that on any other store.
Yeah.
And it basically has the effect of keeping prices to us consumers high, as the price competition by platforms that would cause the prices of PC games to decrease isn't being allowed to happen.
Yeah, I think that's why, especially in the last year, you've seen a lot more sales. Because I believe, from what I've heard from it, a sale is a way they can get around it because it's not a permanent price change.
Yeah.
So if they could offer like a 10% off on everything on their store, which could bring it just below Steam's price, but because it's only temporary, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's just stupid. Um,
Yeah.
I think the last thing, also whilst we're on gaming related stuff,
Yeah.
is going to be Geforce Now, because Nvidia brought it over to Chrome browsers and M1 Max.
All right.
So theoretically, it means you can play these AAA games and stuff anywhere you have either a Chrome browser or now on your Mac or your PC, whatever you have.
Yeah.
Um, but the only issue I actually personally have with GeForce Now is, in my opinion, it's actually a little bit worse than Stadia in the way that its model works.
Yeah.
So there's a free path for GeForce Now where you can have a limited session of up to 1 hour.
Yeah.
So after an hour, you get kicked off.
Right.
Um, or you can pay for things for their founders, which at the moment the monthly is sold out. You have to buy 6 months.
Okay.
So I don't understand how you sell out monthly subscriptions, but you can still sell someone if they buy for 6 months, which is a bit weird.
Yeah. A little bit weird, isn't it? They're obviously trying to limit how many people have certain subscriptions, aren't they?
Exactly. But then you'll think, you're paying for your subscription. Now, if I go on the GeForce Now website, um, just to get the latest price, so you currently have to pay, if you want the Founders one, you have to pay $24.95 for those 6 months.
Yeah.
That gives you priority access to it. Means that you'll say there's a queue, it'll make sure you get priority over anyone's on a free account.
Yeah.
It says extended session length, so I don't know if that means unlimited or just an hour and a bit.
Right. Okay.
And it has RTX on, so basically you can play games as if you had an RTX graphics card.
Yeah.
But then you have a look at how the games are done, and GeForce Now doesn't actually provide any games at all.
Okay.
So, like what you said when we was talking about Google Stadia, how you have to either have the Stadia Pro, so you get a few games you can get to keep each month.
Yeah.
Or you buy the games.
Yeah.
With GeForce Now, you have to have the games on like Steam or Epic or Uplay.
Okay.
So it's just playing games you already own. But then, why pay to be able to play them?
Yeah.
Each month. If you own the game, why do you have to pay?
Well,
Like, I understand the idea that it's cloud gaming, so you can play games you can't normally play.
yeah.
But with the amount of money you'll spend on GeForce Now, so you can play every new game that comes out,
Well, yeah.
you can upgrade your PC. At least with Google Stadia, you get a few free games that sweetens the deal.
Yeah. I don't know how much Stadia Pros I have. I'm actually just having a look at it now. I was $8.99 a month after the 1 month free trial.
Yeah. And I believe at the moment there's 6 free games.
Yeah, I was looking at it. Yeah, so at the moment you get Formula One 2020,
Mm-hmm.
Hotline Miami, El Hijo, A Wild West Tale, Sniper Elite 4, Outcasters, and Hitman 2.
Yeah. And I mean, also then being a pro member, you get discounts on I think pretty much every game they have.
Alright, okay.
Like Watch Dogs Legion, a game we both want to get and play.
I've actually got Watch Dogs Legion on Uplay.
Oh right, yeah, I haven't got it yet.
No.
So it's $47.99 on normally.
Yeah.
If you're a pro member, you go for $35.99. So that's a £12 saving.
Yeah.
So they give you something that sweetens the deal.
Yeah.
GeForce Now just goes, yeah, well, you can play using our RTX graphics cards. But if I don't pay you, I can save up the money and put one in my system myself.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then you don't just get priority access, you can play whenever you like.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I played on Google Stadia yesterday, and there's no waiting to go in.
Oh yes, Destiny 2 is actually free on Stadia as well.
Yeah, yeah, I've got Division 2, Destiny 2, and this game called Crater. I don't know what the hell it is, but I got it for free.
Okay.
But
Have you got Stadia Pro then?
I had it. I let my subscription lapse, and we're going to get it back when I
All
get
right.
paid. But like I said, the games work perfectly. There's no
Yeah.
waiting, and say for example you don't have the Stadia sell their own controller.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have it. You can use an Xbox controller. You can also use a PS4 controller, and it shows PS4 controls.
Okay.
So it actually works really well.
Yeah.
And again, at least they sweeten the deal with what you get for the subscription.
Yeah, because it looks like they're doing a thing like what they have on PlayStation, Xbox, where you get so many free games.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So you get so many free games, and you can play those games as long as you keep your subscription.
Yeah.
Or so you can purchase the games, and in your subscription lapses, you get to keep it.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, Stadia is a much better option than Geforce Now.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, yes, okay, if you don't have Stadia Pro, you play on 1080p. Um, when you get Stadia Pro, you get 5.1 surround sound support,
Yeah.
and you also get 4K gaming.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty cool.
So that you pay £9 a month, you get free games, you get to play them on so many different devices, which you can't normally play those games.
Yeah.
It's basically, like I said, it's like what PlayStation Plus and Xbox Games with Gold do.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that Xbox and PlayStation do that, and obviously Google doing that with Stadia, because it makes people go, actually, it's worthwhile having that because I get free games.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Nvidia seems to be going a bit elitist for me at the moment.
Yeah. They're sort of coming out with these graphics cards that are ridiculously expensive, and
I think the latest, I think it was the 30, I want to say 3090, I might be wrong. The actual recommended retail price for it is over £1,000.
yeah.
And it's like, you know, you have AMD on the other hand. I think their most expensive graphics card is about 600.
Yeah.
And now you look at the fact that Nvidia have their game streaming service, but again, all it gives you is access to RTX graphics cards, but you have to supply the games.
Yeah. It's very strange way of doing it.
And I feel that the
Oh.
only go on.
Sorry, I was just having a look. Apparently, Ark is actually coming to Stadia.
It is. They have they actually have some really good games coming on there, and games already on there.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the coming soon to Stadia. You've got a few titles that sort of jump out at me: Ark Survival Evolved,
Mhm.
Destroy All Humans,
Mhm.
Mafia 2 and 3.
Hmm.
Yeah, they have like already they would say they've got all three Watch Dogs movies on all three Watch Dogs games on there.
They have a lot of the Assassin's Creed games as well.
Yeah, The Crew 2, Serious Sam Collection,
Mhm.
Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, so they've got some good games on there.
And that's another thing. They also have Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, even though Red Dead Redemption Online can now be bought standalone, I believe
Yeah.
you still get access to it with Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
So in theory, that might actually give people a way of playing Red Dead Online.
Um, yeah, I don't know actually.
that's what I want to have a look at because it quite intrigues me. Because obviously we used to play Red Dead Online when we had our PS4s.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, gold bars. Yeah, they must. It must have access because I had a look at their gold bars, and it says on there because they do like the sort of normal add-on bits you get on like if you're like Steam, you get on PlayStation, Xbox, all that lot.
Yeah.
And it says here, this bulk offer allows you to pay for less for the most gold bars in Red Dead Online.
Okay.
So they must have access to Red Dead Online as well. So there you go. You can even play Red Dead Online
Yeah.
through Google
I think the
Stadia.
only thing is obviously they have their own Google Stadia servers for it, by the looks of it.
Um,
So what I've been reading, people are saying now your best bet is to refund Red Dead and buy it on console if you want to find people to play online. Stadia multiplayer games are like ghost towns at the moment.
I mean, yeah, they probably can be, but the thing is, they'll pick up over time and more people start using the service.
Yeah.
But also, Red Dead Online, say for example GTA 5 was on here,
Yeah.
instantly solves the modders issue. Because they can't install their mod menu.
Yeah.
So therefore, at time of recording, this is probably the only way you can play Red Dead Online without any modders.
Yeah.
Because I was actually looking the other day because I was playing some more GTA 5 and yeah, so many modders, I was getting really annoyed and I looked up and I found one mod menu they use.
Yeah.
So they use one called Disturbed.
Right.
And if you go on their website, which is w1tch.pro,
Yeah.
they actually boast all of their features on there. So they can protect themselves from being kicked. So even if everyone votes for them, they can't be kicked from the session.
Right.
They can crash your game and every person's game on the whole server. So everyone in that session, boom, gets kicked. Their game will crash back to Windows. And one of their recent features they've added in, they can now copy your unique Rockstar code, which is like a unique serial number.
Yeah.
And they can use that to follow you when you change session.
That's fucking weird, isn't it?
Because you know how obviously GTA Online has the join friends and join crew options.
Yeah.
It uses that mechanic, but because it has that code, it injects that code in and says join this person's session.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just getting worse, and Rockstar aren't doing anything about it.
No. They have no real intention, do they?
They don't.
They've got the money for people now.
And that is where I think these cloud gaming services will come into their own. Because, especially like Google Stadia, where it has all its own servers, you're guaranteed not to have a single cheater.
Yeah.
Because unless someone can gain access to Google Stadia servers and then find whatever unique session they're in that they have access to and find a way of installing their mod menu,
Yeah.
you know, they wouldn't be able to ensure they have it.
Well, yeah.
And then obviously when you come off the game, you come on the next day, they'd have to do the same process again to try and find a way in, because you're not guaranteed to be on the same server instance of that game.
Well, yeah.
So,
I mean, it is interesting. I think I am going to give Stadia a try.
oh yeah, I'll definitely recommend it. I mean, like I said, I played the Division 2 and I was actually pretty amazed. Yes, there's times where I didn't have any lag, but you get bits you're like, okay, if I had it running on my own PC, maybe I would be able to tweak the graphics settings and push just a little bit more graphic, you know, aesthetic stuff to it. But it looks great still. It plays great. There's no real downside to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Okay, so I think that is how we'll round up this shorter episode.
Yeah.
Let us know if you give Google Stadia a go. Let us know what you thought, or if you have already used it, let us know if you've had any issues. Because I played it for about an hour yesterday and didn't really notice anything. And I think we'll bid you farewell for now.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, see you next time.
See you later.